One of the most important things to understand before commencing your home search are all the costs that are involved. Unfortunately, your purchase price, although the largest cost, is not the only thing you're going to need to pay for, and you want to ensure that you have funds set aside for each expense. Having this information ahead of time will help you get all of your ducks in a row and be fully prepared and ready to commence your home buying journey with no financial surprises. So, starting at the top, the most obvious cost and the largest is your purchase price. And for most buyers, this cost is going to be funded by a combination of the money you have available from your down payment and your mortgage. The next largest cost is land transfer tax. Everyone who purchases a home in Ontario pays our provincial land transfer tax, and for those that purchase a home within the City of Toronto boundaries, they also have to pay our municipal land transfer tax in addition to the provincial one. There are land transfer tax calculators available online, and I also dive deep into this topic in another video, so feel free to give that a view if you'd like to learn more about this. For the purposes of this video, I'll let you know that for purchases of $2 million or less, the total cost will be somewhere between 2.5 to 4% of the purchase price, and first-time homebuyers in Toronto do receive a discount of $8,475. Next are your legal fees. Now, this cost will vary depending on what lawyer you hire and the details of your purchase, but you should budget somewhere between $1,500 and $3,000. The next cost to be aware of is title insurance. This is a one-time insurance fee that protects buyers and their lenders against issues or losses related to the property's title. If you're receiving a mortgage, title insurance will be mandatory. However, if you're paying for your property in all cash, title insurance isn't mandatory, but I would 100% recommend it. Now, as far as the cost is concerned, this is greatly going to vary due to a number of factors. But again, for a purchase price of $2 million or less, I would budget anywhere between $400 and $2,000. There is also online calculators for title insurance. Another cost that may or may not apply would be the cost of a home inspection. Again, in another video that is specific to this topic, I explain different scenarios where you may or may not opt to pay for a home inspection, but for the purpose of this video, I'd keep in mind that the cost is going to be in the $300 to $1,000 range if you do end up getting one. Another fee you may or may not be responsible for is an appraisal fee. If you need a mortgage, it is likely that the lender is going to want to appraise the property. Some lenders and mortgage brokers cover this cost, but others do not, so it's best to budget a few $100s for this expense just in case. The next cost to be aware of is mortgage default insurance. This cost only applies to individuals whose down payment is less than 20% of the purchase price, and the cost is wrapped into your mortgage. So no, this is not a separate payment or lump sum due on closing. However, you want to be aware of it because it will increase the amount of your mortgage. And again, the cost will vary depending on the size of your down payment, but it'll be somewhere in the range of 2.8% to 4% of your mortgage amount. Now, as mentioned, the mortgage default insurance premium will be added to your mortgage. However, the PST on it, the tax, cannot be. And this is a separate cost to be aware of. So in Ontario, a cost equal to 8% of your mortgage default insurance premium will be due on closing. The next cost is something called closing adjustments. And essentially what these are is if the seller has overpaid for something related to the property past the agreed upon closing date for the sale, then the buyer will have to reimburse the seller for those costs on closing. Examples of this would be property tax, condo maintenance fees, or rental items in a house, such as a hot water tank. So to be clear, these aren't extra costs. If the seller hadn't already paid for any of these items past the closing date, they would still be costs owed by the buyer as part of their home ownership responsibilities. But because almost always there have been items that have been already paid for, there will be a reimbursement owed to the seller known as closing adjustments. The final item to be aware of and budget for are your moving costs and any items that you want to invest in for your new home. So if you are an individual about to embark on your home buying journey, I really hope that you found this list helpful and you're now ready to properly budget for all the costs involved with buying a new home.